हम डिस्कस कर रहे थे मोड्स ऑफ ऑपरेशन और इसमें हमने डिफरेंट जो मोड्स हैं उनको डिस्कस किया। अब देखते हैं कि इन सब के ऊपर क्या इनमें डिफरेंसेस हैं और क्या किसी मोड में एडवांटेज हैं। तो जो भी मोड हैं बेसिकली दे आर ऑफ टू टाइप। एक जो ब्लॉक साइफर को एज ए ब्लॉक साइफर ही ट्रीट करते हैं और दूसरे उसको एज ए स्ट्रीम साइफर उस पर ऑपरेट होते हैं। तो इसमें जो सीबीसी ब्लॉक साइफर है, दिस इज एन एक्सीलेंट ब्लॉक साइफर एंड दिस इज ब्लॉक साइफर। CFP, OFP and CTR are stream ciphers. CTR's mod is faster because it's simpler, its implementation is simplest, and it allows parallel processing. That is why CTR is faster. With the exception of ECB, all of the NIST approved blocked cipher modes of operation involve feedback. This is clearly seen in this figure. To highlight the feedback mechanism, it is useful to think of the encryption function as taking input from an input register whose length equals the encryption block length, and with output stored in an output register. The input register is updated one block at a time by the feedback mechanism. After each update, the encryption algorithm is executed, producing a result in the output register. Meanwhile, a block of plain text is accessed. The both OFP and CTR produced output that is independent of both the plain text and the ciphertext. They are natural candidates for stream ciphers that encrypt plain text by XOR on full block at a time. Now we will discuss initialization vector and different modes. IV has different security requirements than a key. Generally, an IV will not be reused under the same key. Like CBC and CFP, if we reuse an IV, it will leak some information about the first block of plain text and about any common prefix shared by the two messages. But in case of OFP and CTR, reusing of IV will completely destroy the security. So that is why in some scenarios we cannot reuse initialization vector. Now let's compare CBC and CTR. In CBC we need padding. If the final block is smaller than the B bits, then we need bit stuffing and we need to pad that block to make it equal to B bits. In CTR, we do not need any padding. CBC offers parallel processing. CBC offers no parallel processing, but CTR is faster due to its features of parallel processing. CBC separate encryption and decryption functions. But in CTR, encryption function alone is enough. In CBC, random IV or a nonce is used, but in CTR we need unique nonce each time. In CBC, if we use nonce, it will leak some information about initial plain text block, but in CTR, nonce reuse will leak information about the entire message. So we cannot reuse nonce in CTR mode of operation. Here is the comparison of different modes with respect to type of result and data unit size. We have 5 operation mode in ECB and CPC. In ECB, electronic codebook, and CBC, we have data unit size of n, and both ECB and CBC are of type block cipher. But the application of ECB is for small messages like encryption key. In ECB, each n-bit block is encrypted independently with the same cipher key. But in CBC, same as ECB, but each block is first exclusive OR with previous ciphertext, then encryption is applied. That is why it's called CBC, chained block cipher. But in CFP, where data unit size may be R is less than equal to N, this is stream cipher. OFB and CTR are also stream cipher. CFB and OFB have the data unit size of R less than equal to N, but CTR has a data unit size of N. In CFB, each R bit block is exclusive OR with an R bit key, which is part of previous ciphertext. But in OFP, same as CFP, but the shift register is updated by the previous R bit keys. In CFP, R bit is exclusive OR, but in OFP, the shift register is updated by the previous R bit keys. In CTR, it is same as OFP, but a counter is used instead of a shift register. This is a difference of different modes of operations. Now let's compare modes with respect to its application and description. ECB works on 64-bit plain text blocks, and they are encoded separately. The application of ECB is secure transmission of encryption key. CBC mode operates on 64-bit plain text blocks, and they are XORed with preceding 64-bit ciphertext. This is commonly used method, and it is used for authentication purpose. In CFP, S bits are processed at a time and used like CBC. Primary stream cipher, and it is used for authentication. Now let's compare OFB and CTR. Like CFP, except that the output is fed back. In CFP, output is not fed back, but in OFB, output is fed back. The application of OFB is stream cipher, well suited for transmission over noisy channel like wireless communication or satellite communication, where there is a strong probability of noise. We can use OFB mode of operation. CTR key is calculated using the nonce and counter value. Counter is incremented for each block. The general purpose block oriented transmission is held in CTR, and it is used for high speed communication. Now let's put some final notes on all these modes of operation. All these modes, including XTS, we will discuss afterwards. All modes provide confidentiality. To ensure an encrypted message is not accidentally modified or maliciously tampered, requires a separate message authentication code, MAC. There are several MAC schemes like hash MAC, CMAC, and GMAC. They can be applied to provide extra security on your transmissions. But composting a confidentiality mode with an authenticity mode could be difficult and error prone. New modes combined confidentiality and data integrity into a single cryptographic primitive like CCM, GCM, CWC, EX, IAPM, and OCB. Now let's discuss XTS AES mod for block-oriented storage devices. In 2010, NIST approved an additional block cipher mode of operation, XTS AES. This mode is also an IEEE standard, IEEE standard 16192.007, which was developed by the IEEE Security in Storage Working Group. The standard describes a method of encryption for data stored in the sector-based devices where the threat model includes possible access to stored data by the adversary or opponent. The standard has received widespread industry support. The XTS-AES mod is based on the concept of a tweakable block cipher introduced in which function is much the same manner as a result used with password. The form of this concept used in XTS AES was first described in ROG A04 publication. Before examining XTS AES, let us consider the general structure of a tweakable block cipher. This is a general structure of tweakable structure where we have three inputs. A tweakable block cipher is one that has three inputs: a plain text P, a symmetric key K, and a tweak T, and produces a ciphertext output C. We can write this as C is equal to EKTP. The tweak need not be kept secret, whereas the purpose of the key is to provide security. The purpose of the tweak is to provide variability. That is the use of different tweaks with the same plain text and same key produces different outputs. The basic structure of several tweakable clock ciphers that have been implemented is shown in this figure. It is now easy to construct a block cipher mode of operation by using a different tweak value on each block. In essence, the ECB mode is used, but for each block, the tweak is changed. This overcomes the principal security weakness of ECB, which is that two encryptions of the same block yield the same ciphertext. The requirement for encrypting stored data, also referred to as data at rest, different somewhat from those for transmitted data. The P1619 standard was designed to have the following characteristics for data at rest. The ciphertext is freely available for an attacker. Among the circumstances that led to this situation, a group of users has authorized access to a database. Some of the records in the database are encrypted so that only specified user can successfully read write them. Other users can retrieve an encrypted record but are unable to read it without the key. An unauthorized user manages to gain access to encrypted records. A data disk or laptop is stolen, giving the adversary access to the encrypted data. The number two requirement is the data layout. The data layout is not changed on the storage medium and in transit. The encrypted data must be the same size as the plain text data. Number three, data are accessed in fixed size block independently from each other. That is, an authorized user may access one or more blocks in any order. Encryption is performed in 16-byte blocks independently from other blocks except the last two plain text blocks of a sector. If its size is not a multiple of 16 bytes. If the size of the last block is not multiple of 16 bytes, then it can happen. There are no other metadata used except the location of the data blocks within the whole dataset. The same plain text is encrypted to different ciphertext at different location, but always to the same ciphertext when written to the same location again. A standard conformate devices can be constructed for a decryption of data encrypted by another standard conformant device. The P169, the P11619 group considered some of the existing modes of operation for use with stored data. For CTR mode, an adversary with write access to the encrypted media can flip any bit of the plain text simply by flipping the corresponding ciphertext bit. Now let's discuss the operation on a single block. Figure 7.10 shows the encryption and decryption of a single block. The operation involves two instances of AES algorithm with two keys. The following parameters are associated with the algorithm. Key. The 256 or 512-bit XTS AES key, this is passed as a concatenation of two fields of equal size called key 1 and key 2, such that key is equal to key 1 or key 2. Where P, the jth block of plain text, all blocks except possibly the final block have a length of 128 bits. A plain text data unit, typically a disk sector, consists of a sequence of plain text block P1 and up to Pn. The jth block of ciphertext, all blocks except possibly the final block have a length of 128 bits, where j the sequential number of 128 bit block inside the data unit, and I the value of the 128-bit tweak. Each data unit sector is assigned a tweak value that is non-negative integer. The tweak value are assigned consecutively starting from an arbitrary non-negative integer, where alpha is a primitive element of GF Gaussian field, where 2 raised to power 1 to 8 that correspond to polynomial x, and aj are multiplied by itself j times in Gaussian field. And this is the bitwise XOR, and this is modular multiplication of two polynomials with binary coefficients modulo. This is the multiplication in Gaussian field 1 to 8. The plain text of a sector or data unit is organized into blocks of 128 bits blocks and are labeled as P0, P1, P up to M. The last block may be null or may contain from 1 to 127 bits. In other words, the input to the XTS AES algorithm consists of M 128-bit blocks and possibly a final partial block. As can be seen, XTS AES mod like CTR mod is suitable for parallel operation because there is no chaining. Multiple blocks can be encrypted or decrypted simultaneously. Unlike CTR mod, XTS AES mod includes a nonce, the parameter I, as well as counter parameter J. For encryption and decryption, each block is treated independently and encrypted decrypted as shown in figure 7.10 as we have discussed. The only exception occurs when the last block has less than 128 bits. In that case, the last two blocks are encrypted, decrypted using a ciphertext stealing. Ciphertext stealing technique, instead of padding, it steals some bits from the preceding ciphertext and perform the encryption and decryption process.